Christmas dinner is 2 weeks away. It's time to get prepared. Let's talk about it.
Here's your armed citizen meme of the week. Screen cap it, crop it, and send it to everyone you know.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
Now, let's get on with the content.
You know it always happens. You get seated next to or directly across the table from your purple-haired, nose ring wearing, they, them liberal female cousin or aunt. Here's my suggestion on how to not only survive, but to prosper during that dinner. So, many family dinners like this are almost always contentious, with you being pro Second Amendment and them being pro gun control. There's no middle ground, or is there? Instead of big political arguments breaking out, let's do things a little differently this year, shall we? The mindset you need to carry into this is not to defeat the other person or even to win them over. Consider it a glorious win if you got them to neutral. Consider any progress toward your side as a victory. Abraham Lincoln is quoted as saying, "The best way to destroy an enemy is to make him your friend." Well, how do we do that? Very carefully. You have to remember the modern leftist has incorporated the positions they've been given by the TV so deeply into themselves, it might as well be a critical organ that they can't live without. So getting them to move at all will be a hard process. You are asking them to give up a deeply held belief or beliefs that defines who they are as a person, and most people aren't ready to do that. Not to mention, they're under the threat of their whole friend group viciously turning on them for actually considering your arguments and position. It may take several discussions on it, or it may never happen. But keep in mind, the result of such conversations is that you may not win them over. You may have to agree to disagree. But any reasonable and rational discussion can get them to at least start to process your points and maybe realize that you may be more correct than they are. You should also be trying to win over the spectators of this discussion. You do that by being calm, level-headed, level-voiced, and polite. Make yourself sound rational and reasonable. Her apoplectic, spittle-flinging rantings will help drive converts to your side as well. Citing facts directly isn't going to work with a leftist because they think, act, and react emotionally, which makes them fact resistant. You have to avoid doing a frontal assault on their position with facts. You'll make more headway with a flank attack by using emotionally driven facts. This way, you can trap them in their own flawed logic loop that proves your facts are more correct than their facts or feelings. My first suggestion is for when someone starts spouting anti-Second Amendment tropes or memes or something like that, the best response is to invite them out to the range with you. You can sell it to them as field research that they can conduct to see what the people, culture, and experience is really like. so they can be more knowledgeable when they talk crap about how misogynistic, bad, and evil gun culture really is. Couch it like, hey, I'm going to be in town for a couple of days after the holiday. If you're staying too, I would like to take you out to the range and let you experience it firsthand. No pressure, and I promise I won't make fun of you. If they agree, take them out and let them shoot a .22 caliber pistol. Do not put a .455 Casull revolver in their hands and laugh at them when they develop a groove in their forehead from the recoil. Remember, you're trying to win them over. You do that by making this fun for them. You start off with a .22 pistol, then move up to a .22 rifle. They You start off with a .22 pistol and then move up to a .22 rifle. If they want to try something bigger, well, they'll have to come back. So, and always discuss how to operate the firearm. Operate it for them for the first couple of times, such as safety on, safety off, chamber around, whatever. Always discuss and stress the rules of firearm safety. Explain to them how this is fun for you. It's also relaxation. If you have a .22 rifle that looks like an AR, like the Smith & Wesson M&P 1522, use that so they can get to see an AR up close. Make sure you have adequate hearing protection and just don't make fun of them. Be polite, be courteous, be supportive, be respectful. You might liken it to potty training a toddler. It was at this point I was going to throw up some various general points to talk about that refutes their talking points. Then I found everytown.org has released a set of talking points for use at the Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner tables. Let's take them apart, shall we? I don't want to make this video too long by covering all 17 of them, so here's the ones I think are most important. The only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. That's a myth to them. And the only possible response you can give is, if you believe this is correct, why, if your life is being threatened, is your first action to call 911? Because doing that brings good guys with guns who will stop the bad guys with the guns. And if you didn't know it, licensed armed citizens per capita commit less crimes than police officers. Armed citizens are also more accurate in police when the bullets fly. In an active shooter situation, armed citizens are right there on the scene, while the police are 5 to 10 minutes away if you're lucky. Criminals will always find a way to get their hands on a gun. This is true. But you see, the meme talks about the 5 million criminals who were prevented from buying guns at gun stores through FFLs, or Federal Firearm Licensee gun stores. What they didn't tell you is 95% of those 5 million denials are later approved, mostly because the applicant's name is the same as the criminal's, or there was an error in the system. So that 5 million is actually more like 250,000 spread over 31 years. Felons and other prohibited persons by default do not buy their hardware from a gun store. They buy surreptitiously from regular citizens in private sales, or they go to a fence, or they just steal one. Storing my gun in my car as a means to protect myself and my family won't hurt anyone. That's the myth. Then the meme states how a firearm is stolen from a vehicle every 9 minutes. They are right to a point. A firearm left in a vehicle will not hurt anyone. It won't protect you either, because that firearm needs to be on your person, or it might as well be on the moon for all the good it will do you. The only time a firearm should be left unattended in your vehicle is because you went into a gun-free zone, which I always do my best to avoid those kind of places. Most of the cars that guns are stolen from have various kinds of pro right to keep and bear arms stickers in the windows. Go find my video number 40 for more on that. The myth is guns don't kill people, people kill people. That's correct. But then they go on to say people with guns kill people more efficiently without guns. At this point, I suggest you point to grandma or the matriarch of the table and ask your leftist you're discussing this with, do you think grandma could fight off a young male attacker unarmed? Don't you think she deserves that kind of efficiency? I can teach grandma at her age to be deadly accurate in 10 minutes with an AR-15 than she could ever be with a pistol, because the pistol requires hand strength and arm strength that she doesn't have in advanced years. But don't be surprised if grandma says she sleeps with a 38 caliber revolver under her pillow. Everyone already has to get a background check when buying a gun. Not so much. Background checks are only when you purchase from a licensed dealer, such as a gun store, not in a private sale. Now, a gun owner who listens to their tactical girlfriend Prudence, who's selling a gun in a private sale, will meet the buyer at a gun store. And what I suggest you do is you put your firearm on consignment with the gun store. Then the prospective buyer buys the firearm from the store, which means they have to fill out the ATF form 4473 to make sure that the buyer is not a prohibited person. It costs you a few bucks, but you know what? That's okay. And that last bit about online or gun show sales are out and out lies. Online means you're shipping the firearm to the buyer sight unseen. A private person cannot ship a firearm to another person, only to a federally licensed firearms dealer. If you try to FedEx, UPS, or mail a firearm to a private individual, the package carriers will find out during the security screen and notify the ATF, who will be knocking down your door in short order and shooting your dog. As far as gun shows go, the same rules apply to both private sales and firearms dealers inside or outside of a gun show. There is no gun show loophole. That's the media and organizations like Everytown blatantly lying to you. Gun violence affects whites and blacks equally. They got this one right. If you go look up the FBI statistics on violent crime, link also in the notes below, you will see that about 43.5% of the murderers and 50.5% of the murder victims were black. Most of the violent crimes in general have a black criminal and a black victim. Looking at this table, we see the spike of murderers in the demographics of black males aged 15 to 34. That, as a percentage of the whole population, is around 4%. And even then, 80 to 90%, probably even more of that 4%, are good men who don't engage in violence. To put it clearly, it is an extremely small portion of the population that is responsible for the vast majority of violent crime in the U.S. Gun makers don't sell weapons of war to civilians. They don't. They can't. Weapons of war, such as automatic weapons, are highly regulated. The amount of paperwork for a citizen to purchase an automatic weapon is almost staggering. To be honest, if President Biden had shipped containers of AR-15s to Ukraine instead of M4 automatic rifles, Zelensky would have flown back to the U.S. to specifically laugh directly in Biden's face. This meme makes it sound like a teacher is issued a firearm along with their attendance book, and that would factually be a terrible idea. The decision to go armed is an individual choice and comes with it the obligation to consistently train with it so you can be effective while using it. Not every person is mentally and emotionally capable to take on the power and responsibility of strapping up. Active shooter drills make students and staff safer. The meme goes on to say active shooter drills have no appreciable effect and actually scares children. This one I have to agree with, but only to a point. Children do not need to be burdened with the knowledge of certain things. The only thing elementary aged children need to know is if any alarm goes off, they should look to the nearest teacher or staff person and do what they say immediately and without question. That's it. Full stop. Teachers and school staff need to be trained in so they know what to do. In the Navy, we had drills every day, fire drills, general quarters drills, you name it. It helped us practice and make instinctive what to do when that alarm goes off. Because in the case of every school shooting, every person who got a locked door between them and the shooter has survived unharmed. Shoot first laws provide everyone an equal right to self-defense. Okay, that one is more loaded than Cheech and Chong on a Saturday night. Shoot first is the false and inflammatory gun grabber term for stand your ground laws. Stand your ground means that if you are in a place where you are allowed to be, such as in public, you have no legal requirement to retreat. Now, your tactical girlfriend, Prudence, will likely tell you that it is tactically advisable to retreat to open a distance between you and your attacker. But there will be situations where you can't get away for whatever reason. From a legal standpoint, you are in a public space where you have the same right to be there as the attacker. To illustrate the logical end of such stupid reasoning this meme presents, in England, they have no right to self-defense. They have no castle law. They have a mandatory duty to retreat. Over there, if someone breaks into your house, you are required by law to flee your home. To defend yourself in any way means prison time for you, probably more than what the attacker would get if you survive the encounter, of course. The rest of these, you are more factually correct if you call the myth the fact and the fact the myth. I'm going to put all of them up so you can read and comment on these so you can come up with your own rebuttals. Stay safe, stay bullet free, tell your family you love them every chance you get. Y'all have yourselves a wonderful day.
If you made it this far, thank you. If you liked this content, please hit the like button to show your support. Help me get the word out by subscribing to my channel, and don't forget to turn notifications on so you know when I post new content. If you think this content would help your friends, the share button helps you get it out to your social media. Comments mean a lot to me, good or bad. Please leave one. All right, go forth and have a most excellent day.